Pucknology After Dark is presented by Audible by Amazon. We've partnered with them to offer a free 30-day trial. You can choose from over 180,000 audiobooks and get a free audiobook to keep whether you continue to use the service or not. Go to audibletrial.com/PAD to sign up. You get a free book, you help support the show, and everyone wins. That's audibletrial.com/PAD. Yes, as in go! You are watching Pucknology After Dark. Oh my. Oh my, oh my. It's been one of those games where you get frustrated, you get excited, and then you have a letdown. Nonetheless, the home winning streak comes to an end, and the Sharks have lost two straight to inferior opponents, nonetheless with backups. That being said, we welcome you all to the show. We invite you to join the conversation using the hashtag PucknologyAD, or you can also join us on the YouTube chat, on the YouTube page, or the app itself. Tonight, it is the Notch Bros show on Pucknology After Dark. You have yours, Julie, Eric, Buckeye14, along with my fellow good buddy, Notch Bro, Gentry Alexander. Hi, Bob.
Hey, what's going on? I feel like we're kicking it old school, kind of going back to the original days of Pucknology After Dark. All we're missing is walking down Santa Clara.
Yes, with my iPhone, I know. It's kind of kicking it old school tonight, letting everybody let the whole roster get some rest. And, I would say the Sharks got some rest, but they looked a little rusty out of the gate for
Yeah, they
sure
got
tonight.
rest. They got rest in the first two periods. You know, they kind of just seemed to. They were there, but not really there. They were calling it what I like to call the Daria try, when they were just like letting just just go. Just they were just like, come on, just pulling the Goldberg, just go in, just take your shots. But what do I know?
Well, and here's the thing, in this sense, I thought they came out very lackadaisical in the first period. Um, it wasn't a great. The second period, they started to come on. They definitely generate some scoring chances, uh, but they just couldn't bury them. And then all of a sudden, Calgary gets 2 goals in a minute 33, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, they were waiting for that steamroll to slow down from the Sharks.
Oh, I agree. I think that the most of this game was just like the teams were just kind of waiting each other out and trying to see a response, and it was the Flames that got the better end of it. Sure, the Sharks had better puck possession numbers, but if it's 2-0 going into the second, and then I mean the only thing that the Sharks really did that broke tradition was they got 2 teaser goals out of this game instead of the usual 1.
Yes, yes, the infamous teaser goal, as I always like to say. Burnsy on the power play. Thank God, because that power play was looking putrid early on. 35 seconds into the third, that made it 2-1, and you started to see them again getting that momentum swing and kept going at it and going at it, and then Melker Carlson right in front of the net, he gets into a Vlasic shot and puts it in to tie the game up, and then you're thinking any time now the Sharks are going to come on, and that's where we call them the teaser goals, because all of a sudden now you have hope. They're coming on strong, and then all of a sudden just a bad defensive breakdown, including an out of play Jones who leaned one way, and Kachuk learned and put it the other way in for his second of the night to close it out.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Matthew Kachuk. That kid is going to be something special. Obviously, he's going
I
to be
mean,
earning a contract, but
he is definitely earning his entry level deal, and the fact that I think this is his 10th game of the season, so he's going to be with the team. If he keeps playing like he did tonight, he is going to be like Calgary in the future. Maybe not this year, or maybe this year if they keep playing the Sharks the way that they do. If they keep playing the way that they did tonight, and if they get better defense and if they get better goaltending, the Flames are just they're so loaded, and you'd think that they would have, after that season where they made it to the playoffs and kind of they gave Vancouver a run for their money. You think that that would have been a springboard, but it didn't really materialize. I think with their young talent that they have right now, it's gonna be something. Like,
Go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, it's gonna be a young team. It's gonna be what Edmonton is Edmonton now, but a lot, further advanced than how long it took
Right.
Edmonton to get to where it needed to be, like right now.
No, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think Calgary is kind of like a step ahead of Edmonton. Although
Mm-hmm.
Edmonton's coming on strong, obviously they've had a good start of the season. But yeah, you have the chemistry already built in with Monahan and Gaudreau, and now you're getting Kachuk in, and you're getting that veteran help from Troy Brower who scored tonight. He's been a
Mm-hmm.
shot killer within the whole calendar year, it seems like, and now they're getting some decent net minding. I mean, tonight it was Chad Johnson. Tonight, or in the past, it's been Brian Elliott. Um,
Well, the thing is that I think what everybody in the Western Conference is starting to realize is that this is how you beat the Sharks. You get a rookie out on the ice, and you start your backup goaltender because he'll have a Vezina-like performance. And I don't know what it is with the Sharks lately. After the Arizona game, they just there was just that shift where it kind of seemed like they were getting good puck management, but it's just they're not getting their chances, and they're trying to be too fancy, and it's like, kind of go back to playing a simple game, just in the look at the two goals that were scored tonight. Net front presence, shots from the point, and you were getting rebounds and good chances, but you were in the eyes of the goalie.
right.
And Bernsey with a laser from the point, and then you had just Melker Carlson, tipping in for that rebound. Why not do that? That's one of the things that I missed about,
Yeah, no, I mean you've heard many times before how we were wishing how there would be some guy who would just stay out in front of the net to screen
yeah,
the
like
goaltender.
the last time we had that on the Sharks roster was Ryan Clough,
Right.
and he made a career out of it. So
Right.
that's what we've been missing, and that's what we need. And it's
Right.
nice to see Melker do that.
Right. I mean, you have Pavelski in the middle, especially on the power play, but he's getting beaten up so much. They know that they're waiting for the timely one-time pass to him, so they're knocking him down. I think he took a couple times where he was knocked down in the play and nothing was called, but uh, you can't let the power play unit just go to its usual form.
I
It
know.
almost seems like now it's like, okay, Joe doesn't have the one-time pass to Pavelski. He'll try to move it up the boards to Burns to try to throw the puck on net.
I
Um,
think that the people have just wised up to the Sharks power play game, and it's very one dimensional. And now, making it to the Stanley Cup Finals, teams are studying it. So now when you have teams like Calgary or anybody else coming in, they're going to be like, okay, so this is how they're going to run their power play, which is why in the past, during the last home stretch, you saw that the second power play unit was getting a little bit more goals because they weren't really a factor coming into the playoffs. So now you're having that second line, the second power play unit kind of playing around, having fun with it, and they were getting the bulk of it last week. So I think what the Sharks just really kind of need to do is not go back to the drawing board, but just play it simple. You've got Burns. Burns has a great point shot. Use that. You still got Jumbo who can still pass the puck. I think it's just, stop being stationary on the power play. Move around, confuse them.
yeah, no, I agree with you. I think a little more movement to keep with the puck possession would be beneficial. I think there's also you don't need to get over fancy on the passing of the power play. There's no reason to do so. It's a simple power play. Like Slushy saying, I've heard Pavelski tips pucks in front. Yeah, but he's getting harassed by the four penalty killers down below. That's the problem. He isn't getting a chance to look at a shot from the point that Bernsey gets it gets the shot off to where it can be deflected. He's getting pushed down and harassed the whole time. It's not going to work. Now they did have good chances on the power play.
Hmm.
Let's not make
No,
make
they
it like
were,
it was putrid, despite it's 1 for 5.
but like as it stands right now, it's the same old Sharks where it was a lot of passing and a lot of, what are we going to do with the puck? Like they didn't have any idea of what they were supposed to do with it. And when you're power play unit that's been together for that long, you should just kind of play with it and see what happens. Puck porn. Um, I mean, look at it. It's like just move the puck around and
Yeah.
don't pass it. It's like for every 2 passes you make, there should be an attempt to shoot. So, and as it stands right now, the Sharks kind of they're playing their game, and the rest of the league has figured it out.
Yeah, it's and like M. Hackle says, unpredictably simple. Uh, that's what they need to do. I mean, you should have options with everything that you plan on doing. So they're showing the replay of the Burnsy goal. Pabs was on the right side boards and passes it over after the faceoff when Joe was in front of the net screening, and sure enough, Johnson doesn't see it. Stuff like that will work. Yeah,
Hmm.
and they have to show for those opportunities, like Felix said.
I would honestly, what, shake things up a little bit. I'm not saying like shake up like the normal like the starting lineups. I'm fine. Like putting in the blender lines has its mixed results. I would start maybe even looking into messing with the power play units. You know,
You could have some balance, but I like how I know what you're saying, that they want to have the overpowering unit, and I get that and everything, but why not? Like move Hurdle over to the top unit and maybe put Couture on the second unit to kind
I
of
would even
stabilize both of that. That way
I,
you don't have to rely on Jumbo and Pavs all the time.
I would say move Marlowe to the second unit and maybe put somebody like Ward or even Hurdle on that top unit, because both of those guys have been making their living within the past couple seasons playing in the net fronts, getting those dirty goals. Why don't you want that on your top unit to get those rebounds?
It's not just on the power play as we transition out of destroying how the power play was tonight. Um, just have that presence in that. Don't be predictive. Don't have all the all don't have your typical setups. I mean, you make it confusing for them. Make them figure out what you're trying to do, rather than what you already know what you're doing. I think is probably more in a sense of that. Another thing that we always hark on is face-off percentages, and tonight they did pretty well. It was 59-41 in favor of San Jose. Couture, who's been struggling mightily, was 57% tonight. They all played pretty well. They definitely generated some scoring chances when they won the offensive zone faceoffs. Um, they're figuring out their face-off senses, that they absolutely needed to.
Well, I mean, if you win the faceoff, you get the puck more. Isn't that
Right.
what everybody's gripe is? But I still say that pucks in the back of the net is what wins you games. So, but what do I know? I just work here. But I will say it's like I think everybody just kind of sat back and like when they were up to nothing, there was that kind of pushback, but it shouldn't have been that much of a pushback. They should have responded right after the first goal. You know, I mean the defense just let Troy Brower just get a free lane in and just he wired it past Jones. You would think that, okay, well, this happened, we need to harken it up. And I mean, Kachuk, the Sharks were built in the offseason to kind of counteract the speed that killed us in the Cup final. And so far, I haven't really seen any of that speed game come into play so far this season.
Well, and that's what leads to my next question. I know you're a huge supporter of Michael Haley. He took a couple of hits tonight where he could have retaliated and been one of the idiots that we've had on the fourth line in the past. He didn't do that tonight. But I'm wondering, as we get ready to go against Pittsburgh on Saturday night, where we had that lack of speed to compete against them for all four lines, that Nieto comes back into the lineup on Saturday night to take them on. Or I mean, I don't think we should be completely just doing the what I think we call the McCullen mashup and just throw it in the blender and say,
No, I think if this would be around the time that you would put Matt Nieto back in and let him play. You'd also say that but be on a short leash with him, because there has been a reason that he has been scratched as many games as he has been. Because Haley, I mean, I see more effort in Haley. I mean, yeah, he's gotten a point and he's been looking good on that fourth line. And what we need is somebody. It's like we're not looking for fourth line bangers. That's not this type of game anymore. But he puts in the effort, and I've seen that effort, and I've been watching his game, and I know, there was a reason why he was 4-0 to start off when he was in the lineup.
he definitely hasn't been the Mike Brown of sorts. By the way, Mike Brown was trending tonight on Twitter. I know it wasn't for the Mike Brown that Sharks fans know and love, but nonetheless, that was fun to see. But he hasn't been that bad. But I would think in this sense of the matchup with Pittsburgh on Saturday, you see a little more speed and skill coming from Nieto, and I'm wondering if you go back to what the original plan was in the sense of having like four lines contributing for the most part evenly.
I think it's just we haven't really had that balance because, if you remember last year, we had Zubris, so we had veteran presence on all four lines. So far, we've just been kind of like, okay, we signed Boddicker, and he was supposed to be like the top six kind of specialist, and he was going to be like on that left wing with what I call the Fast and Furious line with Donskoy and Logan, and that was going to be perfect. And then you would move, Marlowe down to that third liner position, because then you'd have more of a well-balanced attack, but then that just kind of went out the window tonight. So I think what you should do is maybe see what you have in the AHL, see what the Barracuda, because that top line for the Barracuda has been doing wonders for them. So maybe you give one of them a chance.
You see what they're doing, which is great. You're seeing LeBlanc doing what he's doing. Timo's essentially going through training camp right now, so you're not going to have him jump on right away. But yeah, maybe take a look at something down the road. But I can't see you pulling anybody out of there, because then you essentially have to send somebody down. And who are you going to send down?
Haley.
You could send Haley down, but
he's and it's not like a debate where it's just like this is all theoretical. This isn't just us, moping about it. This is just like, this is what I'd like to see. I want to see a shakeup, and and during this time, you want to see what your farm system has to offer. So why not, and throw them in big games. See what they can do, because then it's like, it's the sink or swim mentality, and these are the Sharks. So either you're going to drown in the waters, or you're going to swim very freely while you're in there. And especially if we have and Goldobin's been improving, why not put him in and see what LeBlanc has been, see if he can handle it.
Yeah, I mean, but the other thing too is, where do you put him in? Because if he's doing top line with the Barracuda, you don't necessarily put him on the fourth line with the Sharks. I think that's part of the reason why they aren't up right now.
Yeah, you put him in a chance to succeed. I mean, I would, if I was like, let's say, bringing up somebody like Goldobin or Timo Meier, you give him that, and Timo Meier is fast, and he can go to the net, and he's great at passing. Why not put him on the second line? And then you move Boddicker up to the top line and give that a chance. And then you just kind of mishmash.
they have, but I'm curious to see what they would do with it a little bit.
But
A lot of people are asking should Aaron Dell should get some more games in.
oh, I agree.
I
I think
agree. I don't think it'll be Saturday, obviously, but
no.
I think it's time to give Jones a little bit of a rest.
Well, the thing was is that we didn't get a backup goalie in the offseason because we're like, oh well, we're going to rely on Dell. So far, we've seen Dell for one game. One game. That's not enough. That is seriously not enough for this team. And you need it. Like you can't pull to Jones what we did to Nabokov all those years ago. Where he was starting like 70 or so games, and then by the time we got into the playoffs, he was exhausted. So you need to start giving Dell some more, time, and then you really start need to like kind of look at it and be like, well, is he a stay lock or could he be, somebody that we can rely on in crunch time?
Yeah, and like Chris has said, they've played 11 games. It's early, and to get back to what Chris was saying earlier about the power play, yeah, 20% is going to be the 0, 10, 20, 30, 40 games. We're not suggesting that it's awful, but I think the play has become a little stale, and I think once they get a little more fresh with it, then I think it'll be a little bit better. Keep looking in the chat. If it isn't exactly Kevin Lacey, because we are all Kevin Lacey. If LeBlanc and Goldobin get called up, isn't that exactly what was being complained about all year last year?
No, because we didn't have any depth or anything like that. And Goldobin has like almost a full year under his belt, and you have to give him another shot. So why not?
Right.
Eventually, these are going to be your sharks of the future, so you might as well see what they can do. And we're not saying like, because you look at the rookies that are doing work for Toronto and Calgary, and.
Right, and I get that, but however, there's more depth on San Jose than there are with Calgary and Edmonton. Let's be real. And yeah, it's not the end of the world because we've lost 2 straight. Apparently,
No, burn it all down. Trade everybody.
Yes, trade everybody.
Fire Dober, or I mean whoever the coach is, I forget. And then
careful with that.
And fire the Doug something, Doug Thompson, Doug Wilson. Yes, fire him too.
Jeez. But yeah, I agree with in the sense that Dell needs to probably get some more starts. I would sense you're gonna see some of these kids come up eventually, but with everybody healthy, they're not gonna shake it up.
Mm-hmm.
So, they're not gonna shake it up too much. I mean, you could bring up.
Or maybe something
LeBlanc first and foremost, but again, you got to give him a good line to be on. I think in order for him to have a fighting shot.
Here's the thing, and I'm going to say this, and it's going to be controversial, and I'm going to get crap on it from Twitter, but
oh boy, here we go.
Here we go, guys. This is my hot take. This is my one hot take of the night.
Oh boy.
See what happens when you scratch one of your bottom third pair and you bring up DeMello. See what he's all about. He's just been kind of sitting there waiting in the wings, and this was the type of thing that we were kind of hoping for when we were in the Cup final, because DeMello is faster and can move the puck. I mean, why not scratch one of those bottom third guys and see what happens?
Well, and here's the thing. Has Schlemko played poorly?
No, but Dylan has.
Dylan's had their his ups and downs, and he missed it. He missed it on the I was thinking it was the first goal on Rauer's goal. He was up near the face-off circle and didn't catch the drop pass that led to the goal. But I mean, that bottom pair has been a lot better than Dylan and Pollock, and let's be real, a hell of a lot better than Irwin and Stewart or Irwin and Hannon.
A flaming bag of dog poo is a lot better than Irwin and Stewart, or not Stewart, but Hannon. I mean, anything is better than Hannon.
Oh, that's true. Quickly going over the stats here. Let's see. Nothing majorly sticking out. Time on ice. Pavs and Couture pretty much led the way with almost. Well, Pavs was at 21.5 minutes. Couture at 22:10. Jumbo at 21:05. Obviously, with the power plays that they did have tonight, they were out there a lot. The least of getting on the ice wasn't Haley. It was one of his fourth line counterparts, Tommy Wingles, at 6.5. Although he was perfect in the faceoff circle, but I thought they played pretty well once they got. Bakes kind of hinted at it a little bit that they were going on a that there might have been a go off on the in the first intermission. But and Ian makes a point. I think if you're going to sit a D man, it's Martin, but the issue's not at D though. I think, and Chris is saying more practices, some better breaks will get him out of the funk. Yeah, I can see that too. That maybe they need to have more practices because, again, and we talked about this off air beforehand, they're still trying to figure. They're still. I mean, yeah, it's 11 games in, but I mean, and we shouldn't be using the World Cup hangover on it, though.
But my thing is that everybody should be like, they're saying that, okay, you should be able to assess your team by what? Thanksgiving?
By Thanksgiving.
So we're now almost 3 weeks away. And right now the Sharks are kind of in the middle of the pack. And everyone's like, well, being in the middle is good. But no, if you're only, and how many points is Calgary away from us? They're just underneath us.
They are. I mean, they are. Oh shoot! I lost my.
I would look it up.
11.
Yeah, I would look it up, but if I close this down and open up something else, my computer will crash. So that's why
we don't need that.
Yeah,
because I'm pretty sure that they will definitely not. They'll. I got a little distracted from something in the chat, but I believe the adage that we've all heard is that if by American Thanksgiving, usually you kind of have an idea who's going to be in the playoff pack and who isn't. I don't know. I mean, if you can keep the pace that LA has been slowing down on. In fact, they won tonight 3-2. So they're at 10. Anaheim's at 10, but they're holding down the second wild card spot. Calgary's at 11. The Sharks are at 12. Edmonton's at 15. So we're starting to kind of actually, instead of separating from the spot, now they're starting to slowly come back to earth with Edmonton and San Jose losing tonight. It's still early, though. It's still
early, but I mean, we've always said that the Sharks were always great out of the gate. When remember the lockout shortened year, they would win 7 in a row, and then they'd suddenly find themselves losing 7 straight. Now it's just they can't seem to find a good rhythm where they're playing a consistent. I mean, I would be fine with the game tonight if it looked like they were actually in it. Like, they seemed right from the get-go, they just kind of seemed lost. And all I was saying in terms of their performance tonight, it was like, cool, we got 2 teaser goals. And then the game winner from Tkachuk, it was just ole, here you go. And I think, partly you can blame that on Jones because he didn't read it correctly, but also you can read that on the D for, just leaving Jones out to dry. If you're going to be in championships are won by great defense. Yeah. You can't
great defense, but also you also need to have an offense to put it. But again, it's early. It is early. I mean, at this time, and hey, since I'm in charge of the show tonight, Vancouver was also in early last year. So Yeah, I mean, you had Vancouver and Arizona were in with San Jose, so it's just it is what it is. And again, you had Anaheim struggle, you had LA struggle. Hell, I think Pittsburgh struggled early on. I mean, Crosby was struggling big time last year, and look where everybody ended up. LA was virtually ended up in first place the entire time up until the last game of the season when Anaheim stole the division.
Well,
Or Pittsburgh, they get on a good run, and yeah, you better watch out.
I mean, but right now, as it seems with this team, it's just like they haven't found that consistency. Maybe it's from Cup hangover, or maybe it's from World Cup, tiredness or fatigue. But it's just like they need. I think it's just they just need a wake up call. Maybe they just instead of just trying to play their game, just play a more simple game. You know, for instance, shoot. You got to just shoot the puck more. I mean, my biggest critique is that I play NHL 17 quite a bit, and the thing that everybody hates that when they're on my team is that I constantly just shoot the puck on the net, but I lead it every time. I'm always in leading in assists or goals because I'm constantly firing at the net because you create chances that way on the rush, or you're just creating chances because you're going to the net, and if you go to the net, good things happen.
You throw them in, you throw it in on net, good things can happen. So, um, hey,
Hey,
that's what it is. And you know, I see we're getting lit up, and I really don't care, and that's how it is.
I mean, like the Sharks
Let's.
tonight,
I don't think they got lit up. If they got lit up, it would have been like a 7-2 game.
or 7-4.
Or, doesn't matter. No, they lost 3-2 to Calgary. Going around the league, Philly beats the Islanders in a shootout, and once the Islanders had tied it up late in the game, 3-2 the final there. Toronto won a game. Toronto beat Buffalo 2-1. Of course, Buffalo is without Jack Eichel. By the way, Gentry, uh, uh, stop trying to shoot trade me Parise for that matter.
Still better. Hey, still better than most of your team.
Yeah, well, my team sucks, but whatever. In a good game tonight, the Rangers beat the Oilers 5-3. Rangers putting up 3 goals in the third to take that victory away from Edmonton, so that helps out the Sharks a bit. Another good game tonight was Washington beating Winnipeg 4-3, and
On a week, I think that I saw the highlight of that call for the overtime power play. That was such a weak call. They handed the Washington that game, in my opinion.
yeah, but at the same point, kudos to Winnipeg coming back.
Oh, I know.
They in a matter of 9 minutes they erased a 3-0 deficit. Uh, they looked pretty good, but of course you can't leave Ovechkin that wide open on the left side for the one timer. That's just preposterous. Um, Moving onward, Florida beats New Jersey 4-3 in overtime. Uh, Yager, Yager with another assist. He just amazes me, I tell you. That one was just something else. Another good one. We had a lot of good games tonight in the NHL. Um, Boston over Tampa Bay, 4-3. Uh, Definitely another strong game. Tyler Johnson with a couple of goals. Yes. Um, but that's beside the point. Then a couple of stinkers in there. Ottawa beat Vancouver 1-0, and Vancouver now lost 7 straight. They went from planning a parade to all of a sudden now planning when they are going to pick the first pick in the
Well, now
draft.
that the Cubs have won the World Series, it's anybody's puck game right now. I mean, now we're gonna see some droughts ending in the NHL all of a sudden. So hey, I'm down for that. You know what? I really hope that this year I want to see something completely out of left field for Stanley Cup winner. I don't want to see where it's like either Chicago or LA or Pittsburgh. I want to see somebody completely just come out of the, just and win the cup, like something weird. Like I want to see like who can I say who can win the cup? That would be really interesting. I'm gonna, what? Fuck it, Winnipeg. I want to see them win it.
Winnipeg?
Winnipeg.
It'd be cool to see Winnipeg, get through the torture, but I'd rather the Sharks get through it first. Nonetheless, apparently the camera was stuck on me, so I apologize for you all seeing my ugly face. So in the sense, I will put this up for the time being and move on from there as we finish up the scores.
Damn straight, Boyle. Damn straight.
Onward. I lost my page here. So Kings won in overtime again because it seems like that's how they're winning all their games is in overtime. They beat the Penguins 3-2. Arizona beat Nashville in a shootout 3-2, and then Chicago shut out Colorado 4-0. Oh, and forgot the other stinker. I don't know what's going on with the Blues. Another game that they gave up 6 goals. They lose 6-2 to the Dallas Stars. So you had some good games, but there were a couple of stinkers in there. Like to recap the standings, it is still early, and so you still have that close. Well, let's see if we're talking.
I'm not saying pull the panic switch.
No, absolutely.
Despite, I mean, because here's the thing: Twitter's is more on there for instant reactions, but then calmer heads prevail. So, I think that like you're watching the game and you're just in the moment, you're kind of saying, well, that's lackadaisical and lazy. But as you kind of analyze the game, it's like, was it a bad game by the stretch? Yeah, but was it like a total cluster crap? No. I mean, I've seen the Sharks play worse, but it would have been nice to see the Sharks kind of bring more of an effort. I mean, I would have liked to have seen it more after that, after they made it 1-0, to see that response. This team has been together and this team is built to play a well-structured game. And when you kind of let if you're going to let the Flames back in it, it would have been maybe not as bad if they would have taken it to OT and we would have gotten a pity point out of it, but still 1 point is better than nothing out of it. So, especially against a division rival. And it's the same arguments that have been said, is that the Sharks kind of played lazy and they played against a backup goaltender that they made look like a Vezina quality winner. So,
and that's what's got to stop, and that's what's hurt them in the past. Another one, Slushy, this one's for you because it's Nick Spalling. So moving on, now we have Saturday, and maybe that's probably part of where the whole trap game kind of comes into the sense. I think maybe they were probably looking towards Saturday in the rematch in the tank with Pittsburgh.
But that's thinking a game ahead, and you should be focusing on the game at hand.
Sure, and you don't want them to do that, but at the same time,
because nobody's thinking about the Sharks. Nobody's like sitting there and looking at the Sharks going, oh, well, we're playing the Sharks, whatever. But we're thinking about, 2 weeks ahead when we're facing Minnesota. Nobody's thinking about that. Everybody, you should be sitting there looking at the calendar. Okay, we're playing Calgary today. Okay, what is their game? They play speed. They got youth. They got talent. How do you shut them down?
Mm-hmm. Well, and now that in the sense it becomes, you have the speed and maybe the youthfulness in Calgary, but now you have the speed and the offensive prowessness that is Pittsburgh coming into the tank. Matt Murray's back with the team. I don't know. Obviously, we don't know which goalie we'll get on Saturday night, but what are you looking forward to?
On Saturday, I'm looking forward to starting whichever goalie starts against the Sharks on my fantasy team, because I have both Fleury and Murray on my team. So I'm probably going to be getting a crap ton of points. But I'm looking to see the Sharks kind of muster back, and if they have a 2-0 lead in the game, please, for the love of God, hold on to it.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with it, and they'll be jacked up for the game, So when they get their first goal of the game, and preferably if it's before Pittsburgh, you'll probably have somebody saying this. Oh, good for you. So
that was your girlfriend. Ugh.
Oh, don't say that. We love AJ.
I love you, AJ, but
hey, nobody wants to see my face, so I totally get it. I don't blame him.
hey, you know what? That
girlfriend
is
wants
a
to see my face. So.
$56,000 face, so they should shut
Oh
up.
Gosh.
They're just hating. But you know what? At the end of the day, you're just going to be swimming in your fat palatial.
Oh, please. Please. Well, after taxes, that's not going to happen. And besides, you still owe me, and you still owe me money anyways. But you guys are going to be getting a nice gift when I get my check. Don't worry about that. Ask his question now, Laurel. I didn't get a slushy question, so I don't have one. Unfortunately, I can't. Let's see. Can I pull a slushy question for Gentry?
Oh, this should be good.
This should be good.
Please.
Let's see.
How the hell did he get on Pucknology? Well, I just happened to show up on the right day.
Yay. That's true. That's But hey, that's a lot more. There's more of those days than lately. So I appreciate you coming on. Slushy question. I will say. Well, let's see. No, you don't do math, so I'm not going to ask you for how many points.
No, I do enough during that course of the day. I work with children. Come on.
Yeah, no slushy question tonight. Although if somebody in the chat does have it, here we go. St. Owen, who won the Stanley Cup the last time the Cubs won the World Series? There you go.
Honestly,
there you go.
That's a good one.
That's a great question, actually.
Okay, so what was that? 1908?
Yes. Don't look.
I'm not looking. I'm just trying to think.
But you gotta think old school.
You got to think really old school. I'm thinking like original six.
I would even think out. Here's your hint. I would think outside the original six.
Ooh. Oh my God, this is a good one. My.
Oh, good for you.
I had a feeling that might get you on here.
Oh, good for you.
But I'll ask you this as AJ comes
Smartasses.
But hey, like I said, we're doing whatever it takes to keep the fans happy because apparently I'm pissing everybody off tonight. So the question to both of you then, who was? Let me put it this way. This is another hint. Who held the Stanley Cup the last time the Chicago Cubs won the World Series?
Detroit? That's going to be my guess.
Oh, I thought he was asking for an actual player.
No.
It's probably not a team that exists anymore. So I have no idea. I mean, I'll just say Montreal, but I'm guessing that it's probably like a team that doesn't.
It's going to be like it's going to be Seattle Metropolitans or some crap like that.
Well, it is a team that doesn't exist, and AJ, you are technically correct because it was the Montreal Wanderers.
Ha-ha! Good for me.
and the interesting thing is the interesting thing is that they
we have to go after dark because Eric has people over.
Shut up.
Oh, and the door to the pen box just closed.
No, but basically throughout the whole entire calendar year of 1908, it was the Montreal Wanderers, the coach or captained by Cecil Blockford. They were the ECAHA champions. They beat Challenges because it was considered a Challenge Cup at the time before the NHL took control of it. They beat the Ottawa Victorias, the Winnipeg Maple Leafs, Toronto in the OPHL, and the Edmonton Hockey Club. And
The more
outside,
you know.
and like, and 4 of those 5 challenges were a 2-game aggregate. So that's an interesting way. That would be. How would you guys feel if it was a 2-game series in the playoffs based on most goals?
Yeah, no.
Gentry.
I'm down for a shorter series, but then again, I still like the best of 7.
Best of 7, yeah.
For me, I always like the Stanley Cup playoffs more than I like any other sports playoff system because it determines, because it's equal. It's not best of 5 for the first round. It's not, and then it goes from there. I like best of 7 all the way through because you get to see who's built for the long haul as opposed to who just lucked into the playoffs.
No, that's a perfect example. I love the fact that it's not best of 5 in the first round, and
all best of 7.
Yeah, it's all best of 7, and they do 7 the right way. 2-2-1-1-1, not this 2-3-2 crap. And if the Western Conference beats the Eastern Conference, that has nothing to do with who gets the home ice advantage in the playoffs.
Oh yes, it's not the West beats
that,
the East
and there's no
game.
Okay, well we have 2 wild card teams. Let's put them in a single game knockout. Kind of crap.
But I'm sure Gary Bettman's working on that as we speak.
Oh God, I hope he's not watching us right now. It's like, well, I'm just gonna screw with you guys before the lockout.
But here's a question I will bring up now because of what happened last night in the Chicago-Cleveland game. Game 7 goes extra innings. I'm not a fan of the Cubs or the Indians. I was enjoying the baseball game, but I really got into it. And I got to ask you guys, and I'll start with you, Jen. How would you feel? Mind you, pretend the Sharks aren't in it, but if it was like, I don't know, Detroit and Colorado, Game 7 goes into like multiple overtimes, how insane would that be?
It would be insane. I would prefer it if it was like Toronto and Washington in a Game 7 Cup final because you're talking about 2. Well, you'd have,
I was like, what?
Yeah, something along those lines where it's like 2 teams on a drought. I would say like maybe Washington or hell, even Vancouver, Game 7 Cup final, because you have 2 games with 40 plus years of droughts in it, that would be awesome because there's so much history and bragging rights on the line and every shift matters and and it could be that one little floater and it could be like the most unlikeliest person winning the game in OT. Like who knows if the Sharks ever made it to the Stanley Cup final again and it's Game 7 quadruple overtime and it's the luckiest shot ever from Tommy Wingles. And look, he'd have probably a statue in front of SAP Center.
Oh jeez, no. AJ, before we completely take off, what did you take from tonight, and what do you expect them to come out on Saturday night against Pittsburgh?
Well, they better be firing from the get-go against Pittsburgh to piss away 3 power play chances at the beginning, and I think over 3 power play chances, they had a grand total of 3 shots, none of them remarkably good. They didn't start to have anything worth watching until the second period, and they started getting more chances. I mean, kudos to them for tying it up, but too many times tonight I saw guys kind of standing around, especially in the slot, although Pavelski had a hell of a game. He got nasty tonight. I saw him in the not in the crease, but in the slot time after time after time, whether he was fighting with Stajan, whether he was fighting with Giordano. I mean, it was a physical game tonight. You saw
he took a lot of crap, and that's what we mentioned earlier, that he took a lot of crap, and he couldn't get those deflections down.
Yeah, and hand it to the Sharks, at least early on, they let Calgary have their parade to the box. It's too bad they couldn't capitalize on it. There was a couple, fun things that happened, of course. Burns just absolutely throwing Kachuk. I shouldn't say throwing, but just giving Kachuk just the full arm extension and pushing him down. It was like, yes, Wookie is better than rookie. Sorry to break it to you right now. But yeah, they better come out firing. I'm a little surprised, and I know this is like way off topic and nobody cares. When they said that they're going to wear the black jerseys for 12 times this season, I didn't realize it was going to be 12 consecutive games. It's a third game in a row.
Los Tiburones.
Yeah, they. I'll pull up the third jersey schedule, but yeah, it just happened. It just happened to work that out. Mainly because the Los Tiburones night. But yeah, in fact, for this matter, they've only worn their teal jerseys once this season.
Yeah, home opener.
So I'm trying to see.
I will say it was San Jose State night tonight, and they did have a hat that was branded with San Jose. So it was a blue hat, the San Jose State blue with a yellow or the gold from San Jose State Sharks logo, and then on the side was the Trojan logo. It was a snapback, but it was a good looking hat, and it evidently the guy who put that together, they sold all the hats, so it was a very well done promo. They can say that it was a sellout tonight. Not 17,562 were not there, even though they might have sold that many tickets, which I did think it wasn't going to be too. Right, they were probably around 15,500 to 15,700, and but good, and a good smattering of Calgary fans tonight. A lot of Calgary fans.
Interesting.
Most of them respectful. There was one or two, goofballs, but mostly respectful Calgary fans. And I look forward to them coming out and just being real pissed off after losing 2 in a row, their first loss at home. Let's see them come out. They know what happened, how they imploded after the last Pittsburgh game. I'm hoping PDB kind of throws down the gauntlet. I'm also going to be interested to see how PDB handles the lines. We saw Hurdle go back up with the Joes towards the end of tonight, so I'm going to see what happened, because Bodker he doesn't. You could give that guy a Bunsen burner and all sorts of chemicals, and he just cannot find chemistry at all right now.
Yeah,
he's definitely not Breaking Bad or Breaking Bodker.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. This might go down as just a really bad move that that no one anticipated.
Well, and like I've said, in Gentry touched on it earlier, the World Cup hangover of sorts. He didn't get to the team until October, when they're already winding down training camp because of the World Cup, and I think that's playing that's being an effect there. I don't want to be that guy to say that, but go ahead, Gentry.
But I was going to say this is that following Bodker and his time with Arizona and his limited time with Colorado, is that the guy has never broken 20 goals. And so, he's gotten 18 or so. He's gotten close, but he's never been able to find a consistent. There's times where he gets hot, and when he gets hot, he's really good. And then he just kind of, disappears. And we don't need any more streaky players. We already have that. It's number 12. We just kind of need Courtsy facts approved. What we need to do is just kind of, get whatever is ailing him, whatever is not right with the lines. I think it's just, don't go back to just putting Hurdle on the top line and because it's like, well, it worked before. I think you have something there. I still like that, a third line with, Hurdle and Marlowe and maybe Carlson. I like that combo. I thought they had a good night tonight, and then you just start seeing the jumbled lines all get together, and then it's like if you're jumbling lines together, you're not gonna get chemistry that way.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. It's going to be interesting to talk about this just before the holidays. Let's see what happens over the course of the next 6 weeks and find out a little bit more what they have. See if they keep Hurdle at third center or bring him up to the top, and let's see what some of the CUDA bring. If Timo starts to have a game, if LeBanc warrants a call up, and should we start a pool for when the next game that will be played that we will see Matt Nieto back on the ice? Should we start a pool for that?
I think it's Saturday. Yeah. I don't think you you keep
You don't put a fourth line banger against the defending Stanley Cup champions, in my opinion.
with
Especially
speed.
when, yeah, I was going to say, especially when you were beaten so badly with speed.
Right.
Yeah.
No. Kind of doubling back on comments, Denise. Hello, my dear. Great to see you on here. We need to get you on sometime soon. She was talking about Vancouver versus Washington, Game 7, double OT, and Ovechkin in the box.
Ovechkin in the box, and the overtime winner coming from Jake Vartanen.
Jacob Furtinen. Oh my God!
I was just gonna say Mr. USA TJ Oshie would get it because that'd be funny.
Yeah. With that, final. Don Julio. No, I'm not answering that. Okay, fine. He's from Long Beach. Final thoughts, Gentry.
Piss poor game. Gotta get your shit together and come back on Saturday. That's all I gotta say.
AJ.
New episode of the Pucknology dropped last night, so go check it out.
All right, well, fine. There goes me stealing, promoting your show. You did it for yourself. Whatever. Jeez. If you haven't already, make sure you do check out the Pucknologies, along with all of our podcasts. Ian's done a masterful job getting all those links and everything together. But nonetheless, make sure you subscribe on the YouTube channel. Make sure you hit up pucknology.net for all your fun shark stuff. And make sure you subscribe to our podcast, whether it's iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, SoundCloud, you name it. So until Saturday, we will be back here. But yeah, make sure you hit Pucknologist on your way home tonight. Drive safely if you are leaving the tank. And until Saturday night, keep it real, keep it tight, keep it real tight, and oh, good for you. Good night, everyone.